Welcome back, everybody, to Golden Gulch. This is episode 13, and in this episode, we're going to be getting a lot done, as we have been in the past couple of episodes. This episode is the second episode in this fourth part of the park, and I plan in this episode and the next episode to be done with this area. So that means two more episodes for this, and we'll talk about a little bit more planning stuff a little bit later on in the episode. But a basic overview for this episode is the flat rides are going to be completed, and we're going to be putting in a little bit of food, a little bit of restrooms, a lot of the things that we've been putting into every single area so far. This one's going to be on the plateau, like the middle area of the like the bottom side and the upside. So it's going to be across from that spinning flat ride that we have. But anyway, in this episode, as I just kind of mentioned, we're going to be doing the flat rides as well. And that's going to include theming this drop tower and also that spinning ride. We won't touch the transport ride yet. I kind of am blanking on what the name is right now, and we're not going to tackle the station for the roller coaster yet. But I plan on having those done next episode. So that's going to be that next episode, and then after that, we should be able to go and do our final video for the bobsled coaster, which you guys can keep your suggestions coming in for that. I haven't named it yet. We'll probably name it next episode, or you guys will. It'll be revealed to you guys on the POV, and then after that, we should be doing our live stream. So in terms of time wise, that live stream should be like March 7th, which isn't really that far away. So I plan to close this this park up really quick, get it all done. But for right now, what we're doing is we are working on this drop tower flat ride. So there was a couple things that I initially wanted to have done with this, and really one of those first things was to actually kind of build up a tower of rocks around the actual shootout tube and kind of give it like that feel that you're exploding out of the almost like a volcano almost. But I kind of ditched that idea once I kind of figured out the placement of the queue and stuff. So now we're actually putting in a queue cover that is this it's a brick, but it's a really worn brick. So now altogether it's kind of worn and it's all rock, and it kind of looks really cool, I would say. And then the exit has an archway but nothing coming off of it, so I like how it turns out. It's a blend between the desert rock and alpine rock. As I said, we're going to be trying as we get up the mountain to go into more of a alpine style, so that's why we're going to use a little bit more. Oh, this is going to be the same building materials, just a little bit different terrain paint. And you can see the terrain paint has kind of taken a little bit of form. It's not completely done yet. I haven't decided like how I want to fade it in, but this bottom part has this really rough rock with this dried out grass, and by the top I plan to have some more moistened grass, I guess, more developed, and then with water, and then maybe even some like snow parts if we can. It might not look right in terms of the park though, just because it is a desert landscape and all that. So now we have finished the drop tower, and we're going to be going on to the spinning ride that I have named. It's named Avalanche, if you didn't catch that in the last episode. So we did name this, and that's why it has like a purple and blue theme to it. Although we are basically covering up the whole flat ride, it's going to be a huge box, and it doesn't really have the big coolest of architecture, but and from the front it looks really big, and from down low, like when you're in the village, the very first section, you can't really see it all that well, so it kind of blends in nice. And then we have a nice grand old sign for it, and these bunch of peak holes and stuff, and we're gonna border it up as well, get it looking all nice and cool. And all these borders are gonna be purple, although it looks more like a blue, so it's not too noticeable, but it is still there, which I like. It's subtle but not too crazy. So that's the second thing that we're going to be working on. This will take a little while to do. We've created the structure of the building, and you can see that there's a bunch of windows on the top part, and there's some two big windows on the bottom part. And now we're just doing the wood for it, like the trim. But we have to also work on the queue, which actually won't take that long. It's just kind of figuring out what I want to do with the queue, which is just going to be a simple queue cover, and then we'll basically be done with this ride. Besides, we'll put the sign on right above the entrance and exit, and then that's it. Now, I did mention in the last episode how I wanted to put a vista point all the way up here. I didn't put that in yet. I was going to put it off to the side of this ride. I just didn't know where. So that might not actually be going in. We'll probably put it all the way up towards the top, except the space is just a little limited up there. So It's still a little debatable where it will be going, but I'm pretty sure it will be going in somewhere in this area just to draw people up here. Because my big fear is that the bobsled coaster, is not scary enough to draw enough people in as, say, the hyper coaster that we made or the looping coaster. So, like, in terms of excitement, it's not the biggest, and it does lose a lot of speed. It comes to a crawl at the end, so even maybe the mine train might get a little bit more people flow through it because it's really just at the beginning of the park. So my fear is just a little bit that people won't be coming up this way, and I just want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So we did put a bunch of flat rides over here to draw people back, and this area has the most flat rides. Out of all the areas, really, I will say, well, no, the Mexican area has two flat rides as well, and it has a transport ride. So the Mexican area should be really, really big, like booming wise, and hopefully this area will be the same. I know people probably won't want to walk all the way up this mountain. That's why we have the chairlift ride. That's what it is, and hopefully that helps as well. But the big concern is the bobsled coaster, since it's all the way at the top and it's so isolated, and it really doesn't have that good of ratings in the game, even though I think in real life it'd have a good rating among families. So anyway, back to what we are doing. We have just completed the queue for Avalanche, the spinning ride, and now we're putting in a little bit of foliage. So as I said, this area was going to be a little bit denser just because it's more of an alpine area, and I wanted to kind of slightly do like kind of ease into this area. So we put some plants at the top of this little cliff here and the rocks at the bottom, and I might put some foliage within those rocks as well, just a little bit off camera. But now we are moving on to the third thing, and there's actually a surprise coming up. So, well, we're not going to say this is the third and final thing we're doing in this episode. It's just the third thing. But I won't tell you guys what's going to happen because this is something that kind of just came to me while I was building. Because, well, for two reasons. One, I wanted to build something else to make sure that I was getting the progress done that I wanted to get in this episode. And also, and with that progress, I didn't want to start the chairlift ride because then that means I have to do both of them. And I already have a plan of attack for that, and it's probably going to take a little while to do. And so right now, anyway, what we are doing is a little food area and a restroom. This park is probably going to be in urgent need of restrooms, so having one in at least every area is going to help. And we only actually have four restroom blocks in this whole park, one per area, I would say. So it might get a little bit crowded. We might have to change or add, I guess, a little bit to every area. But in terms of food and drinks, and gift shops, we should be good. We're putting in another food outlet in here and another drink. I guess you could consider it a drink. I wouldn't say it's completely a drink, but we are putting in the hot dog squad and the Cosmic Cow milkshakes. We haven't put those in yet. We've put in like Slurpee, not Slurpee, Gulpy, and a couple other brands. Like I think we did like Cosmic Cow, or no, not Pip Shop. Pip Shot, yeah, we use those. We haven't used really gulpy milkshakes yet, so we put that in there. And then Hot Dog Squad has not been used either, so we use those too. And then I tried to get a little bit more of an architecture style in here. This is the same brick that we used for the launch drop tower, and this design choice is for a couple of reasons. One, it kind of fits the area, and then the whole building as a whole, you can see that there's a huge triangle area. And then right next to that is the restroom block. So the idea is you go into the restrooms there, and then you turn, and then the restrooms are actually in that diagonal triangle area. But the reason for the triangle is because you can see that the chairlift is actually going right next to it. So if I was to make it flat, it actually would not clear, and that means that the gondola would be going through the building, which is not good. So we did it this way, and it gives a little bit of interaction within the ride and the building. So then another thing that we're doing is we're building a little pergola, I guess you could say. And this basically, I made this out of these ladders. We extended it off from the building and then over the little seating area that we have, which are the wooden benches, and then we put in some supports with the ladders as well. And then we're doing a bunch of lighting here, something that I've been neglecting. So we might have to go back and do that in the next episode as well, is make sure that the park looks all good at night. and then we'll be done with the park after next episode. So we're getting extremely close. I'm really excited for that. So hopefully you guys are too. Now we are starting to finish this ending to the episode almost. We have a couple more minutes. We're doing a little bit of lighting currently, and as I said, we might have a surprise coming up. So that will be in a couple of moments' time once we finish up what we're doing here on this building. So that it will include the little signs for Cosmic Cow and the Hot Dog Squad. And it took me a minute to find them actually, but I found them and they're the little hanging signs that I wanted, just little menu signs, I guess you could say. And then that's pretty much it. So, talking about this secret area that we nobody will really know about unless you ride one specific ride. And that ride is the Mexican train ride, or the train ride that basically goes around the whole park. And you can see, I don't know if you guys watched the last episode or not, but when we were kind of planning out this area, we did some terrain work. And what we did is we actually took the train ride and we went straight next to the bobsled coaster and it went underground. And then basically it turns around in a big loop under this mountain here. And then it comes out on the other side and goes right into the station across the river. So it's a really big area down there that I decided to do something with. Now, it's probably not used to its fullest potential, but I just wanted to put down something down there just a little bit that it wouldn't be seen unless you ride that. And people, I guess it's like a little reward for riding that, since it's not really a transit ride. It's more of just a ride. The actual only transit ride that takes you from point A to point B is the chairlift ride that we have. So this is actually me going down to that tunnel and figuring out what I'm gonna do. So we put down these area lights, and you can see this is about the tip of the turn around. And basically, the idea for back here is I wanted to put a fake shop in, and it's not really one that you would see in the village. Well, I guess it's almost like the saloon, but it's a little bit different as well. So I used this crypt wall, so it's kind of been like abandoned, and it really looks creepy. I wanted it to give it a little bit of a little creepy vibe. It's almost like when you ride a train ride at a theme park and they theme it for Halloween. They put all the skeletons out and all that, and they put maybe some triggered events. That's kind of what I'm going for here, except it's not really going to be triggered. They're just going to move whenever. And I'm just kind of hinting at that. We are going to be putting in skeletons, and you can see it's going to look kind of creepy. We got this crypt wall going on here. It's kind of green, but it's got a glow to it, and we're putting in this white, or it's actually, we changed the color to like tan windows and door, and they kind of look weird, and they're, some of them are going to be crooked, with the lights are going to be crooked as well. And I named this building as just a pub, and it's kind of just like somebody maybe came and stormed the area and then left everybody for dead, I guess. But that's just a little bit of the background for this. I wanted it to just be a little Easter egg, just of riding this train ride around the park. Kind of get to see it, and this would really actually fit in really well for a haunted area. Not really, just a little Halloween haunt theming to it. So you can see I put the skeletons around. I put some rocking chairs. We're gonna be putting in some lights. Some of them are gonna be crooked, all that good stuff. But that's it for this episode. So thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to have an amazing day.